What's up, guys? This is Stefan with Jar with Stefan. Just here telling you a little bit about my journey and where you can start yours. So I don't remember the exact time I started drawing. I think it was somewhere around third or fourth grade. But I do remember in fourth grade I got a drawing book from the school book fair. And I got this How to Draw Marvel Characters. I spent about a year drawing Marvel characters, and that's pretty much where I stopped. I do remember there were these tutorials in the book, and of course, me being a young fourth grader, I was like thinking, I don't need any of that stuff. I spent probably about 3 hours on this drawing of Captain America, who was standing tall at attention, and I'm sitting there leaning forward, just really close to the paper, drawing really hard, and at this point I felt like my drawing was pretty good, and I had literally started from top to bottom, finished this entire piece, and when I got done and I sat back and I looked at it, the entire drawing was completely curved because my head was turned the entire time. I then realized that the directions told me not to bury your nose into your artwork, but to lean back. And pretty much from there on, I quit drawing. So about a year ago, right now I'm 23, I didn't have any hobbies, and all I really did was just sit there and watch Twitch if I had downtime. And one night I was watching in the creative section, there's like drawing and music, and I was watching, I don't remember who it was, but they were drawing a portrait, and I had watched them for about an hour, and I realized that they had spent an entire hour drawing just like a nose. I don't remember what it was, but then I realized the key to artwork is to go slow. So I was sitting there and I was thinking, I bet I can do that. So I went to the local art store and I got some cheap pencils. They were just from Artist Loft, I think the brand was, and I decided to do a Darth Vader portrait. I'm not even into Star Wars, so I don't even know why the hell I decided to do it. But I decided to take my time with it, and I did it for about 8 hours. It took me 8 hours, and when I was done, it wasn't perfect, but for not picking up a pencil for years, I was blown away on how it looked. I was super excited that I accomplished something that was so worth the 8 hours. And right then and there, I was already hooked. So I did a little bit of research from some blogs and YouTube and just seeing what people like. So I got some Faber-Castell graphite pencils. I believe it was Wolf's carbon pencils, and then the charcoal, I don't even remember what it was. And I decided that I wanted to do a piece that was a zombie. And so I was trying to think. I thought of the old movie They Live, and I was like, that's perfect. So I was looking at some reference photos online, and I literally could not find any reference photos. So I just looked up They Live artwork, and I found this really cool picture, and I was like, I'm gonna give that a shot. So I did this piece, and in order to make sure that the proportions were right this time, I saw a video on YouTube saying that to use a ruler, and you can use a ruler to measure out the proportions of the face. I used it for the eyes and the nose and the width of the head. I believe I even used it on the hand because I remember struggling really bad on that. But even to this day, I'm really proud of this piece. It is something I look at, and it's such a weird... there's no way I would have done it like this today. The lines are so hard on it, and some of the shading's kind of weird, but honestly, I really like it. It's a unique piece. Even though it's not my original artwork, I still like how it was uniquely done. It was done with 3 different styles of artwork. And that total took me 25 hours to do. So now I'm starting to notice the more time you spend on it, the better it is. And I'm starting to find out that that is completely true. Every time I start a piece, I already know it's going to take me at least 10 hours or more. These are both on computer paper. For my third piece, I decided to step it up a little bit. I felt really guilty about copying someone else's artwork, so I decided to just do a portrait. And I did a portrait of my wife, and when I first did this one, I was amazed in myself, and I felt so proud. And 5 months later, I did the portrait again, and it blew me away because I realized how terrible that first one really was. It being a first portrait, I mean, it looked all right, but there's clear problems with it, and I'm really glad I redid this piece to see what problems there were, and clearly the face is super flat, the eyes look scary, the whole portrait itself looks scary, and she's not a scary person. I told my wife that portrait looked just like her. My favorite thing about artwork is that even on a bad day, at the end of the day, I still feel really good about it. If I'm working on a piece that is stressing me out or just very annoying, at the end of the day, I just still feel proud about the work. I find myself walking in and out of the office, looking at the artwork, just peeking at it, even if it's like halfway done. It's really cool watching it come to life, and I believe that's where I fell in love with it right away, is being able to just have the freedom to draw whatever you want. Very often I do find myself drawing portraits. It's probably my favorite thing to do. Sometimes I take breaks from portraits and push myself a little bit further. In my opinion, portraits, they look scary. They look hard to draw. And in reality, they're just shapes and shading on the face. I'd say the hardest part about portraits is just matching the skin tone when it comes to color. But really, when you start a portrait, you'll realize it's not that hard. If you haven't done a portrait yet, try tracing a portrait. The best tattooers in the world, they use a stencil. It's the most accurate way you can get a portrait, and in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with it, especially when it comes with a portrait. If you have a paying customer, they're going to want accuracy. If you feel like tracing's not for you, use a ruler. And mostly I use colored pencils. I like the color. I like being able to bring something to life. I love the photorealism style art. I've recently noticed my style. For the longest time, I was searching for my style. I just couldn't figure it out. I'd look at other artists and go to their pages and scroll through their artwork. I'm like, that guy has a style. Why don't I have a style? And recently, it's kind of hard to explain, but I almost feel like my colored pencils look like paintings. And that's what I've noticed so far with my style. I blend so much with alcohols that it just ends up really blending together, and I don't like any of the white showing, and it ends up looking like paint. And hopefully in the future I'll get into some Copic markers. I'm a strong believer in getting the best out there on the market, so that's going to be a little bit of a wait because they're a little pricey, and I don't want to be held back by not having the right colors. If you're a new artist and you're not really quite sure where to start, just watch some tutorials on YouTube. Another thing you can do, which is where I started, was watching artists on Twitch. Go to the creative section, it's under the games, and just watch how the artist does their piece, whether it's your style or not. They're going to do things that you wouldn't have thought of. And find something that's going to be fun to draw. I mean, I think my most fun drawings are the ones that I'm not getting paid from. When people request a specific picture, it's not always the picture you want, and it ends up being a job, a chore. So if you're not sure what to draw, just wait for that spark of inspiration. It'll come, and then you'll be like, I want to draw that. Get the paper down, look up some references, and just give it a shot, and you may end up loving it. I really hope my advice was worth your time, and I hope it was the push you needed to start drawing. For me, it just relieves stress. I absolutely love it. And I never would have thought I would be in the world of art. And it's the best thing for me. Thank you for taking your time and listen to me rant about the journey I've had till now. And subscribe and be there with me for the journey ahead. Thanks. Let's get official.